Hello again, everyone. This is ROCKETRICKJ18, just back from Strongsville, Ohio, and the Strongsville Vintage Baseball Card Show, which was a unqualified hit as far as I'm concerned. But I'm going to talk to you more about that in another, actually, two videos, because I think, I, well, just the way things kind of break down, it lends itself to two videos. But today, what I'm going to talk about are the cards that came in uh, through the mail before I left. Well, when I after I left, but that I ordered before. Well before. And so let's cut right to the chase and look at some cards and quit talking about them. Well, we're going to talk about them some too, but we're mostly going to look at cards. So the first card that I want to show you is from the 1934-36 Diamond uh, Diamond Stars set, and this is a. If you saw my earlier video, I showed you a Pepper Martin card from that set. I also picked this one up because it was very cheap, and you can see why. Because it's in pretty terrible shape. So this one is it was just a kind of an ad hoc spur of the moment thing. I thought, well, it's so I'm gonna put a bid in on it, and nobody else bid on it, so I got it. Uh, this is from the 1935 uh, play or Diamond Stars, and you can tell because it's although it's pretty faded, it is a greenback, and that color was used in 1935. Plus, it has 1934 statistics. So, which you can see uh, right there. And that's how you know it's a 1935 or 30, yeah, 35, right? So that's Pepper Martin. The next card that I'm going to show you is from the 1935 Goudey 4-in-1 set, and this card has three Hall of Famers. The first one being Burley Grimes, who was the last pitcher in Major League Baseball to legally throw a spitball. And so that's Burley Grimes. And next to him is Chuck Klein. From when he was with the Cubs. And finally, there in the lower left is Kiki Kyler. Uh, and all three of those guys are in the Hall of Fame. Only Mr. English there is not in the Hall of Fame. So that's this goes along with my Goudey 1935 set that I'm working on. So those are set collection cards. The next card is not part of any set that I am currently or likely to collect. This is the 1936 Goudey Bill Brubaker. Brubaker was a uh, let's see, it's not even listed on the back of the card. Um, Yeah, it doesn't actually really say. Although his manager was Pie Trainer, uh, that sounds like maybe he was on the Pirates. So on the back of it, there is a game on the back of the 36 Goudey cards, and that's this particular on showing it one way. It's a strike without a swinging, and not without even a swing. It says, and if it comes up this way, it's high and inside a ball that nearly beamed the batter. So that's how you play the game. You turn the cards over and you get whatever's on the back of the card. So that's Bill Brubaker. They're black and white cards, about the size of the play ball cards, or maybe even the 33, 34 Goudeys. They're a little bit smaller than the 35 Goudeys, I believe. Well, I don't know. Maybe they are the same size. Perhaps it was just the color that made them look a little bigger. So anyway, you can see that's kind of the visual. And the cards that I find a little more fascinating from the 36 Goudeys are the premiums. And this is what they look like. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can get a better view of this card. This is Mule Haas. These are made from lithographs. They're very thin paper stock. They tear and crease and everything very easily. And this one, unlike some of the other ones that I have, doesn't really appear to have any creases. So the back, of course, the backs are blank, and that's so that's what they look like. But these were not collected as the base card set in 1936. These were premiums that came in the box, one to a box, I think. So that's Mule Haas or Haas, 1936 Goudey Premium. The next cards are designed to help me improve my 1952 Topps set, and which is in progress. And I've made some progress, and more about that when we come to the Strongsville videos. I had card numbers 1 through 179 consecutive, and then I had some other cards in addition to that, up to about 200 and I don't know, 220 maybe. In any case, I didn't have card number 180, or I would have had a couple more. Card number 180 is Charlie Maxwell, and I bid on 3 separate Charlie Maxwells before I finally got this one on a buy it now. It's, as you can see, it's got 4 bad corners. This one down here, there's some paper loss. This one up here, there looks like there's a little paper loss as well. So this card is poor, no question about that. But it is card number 180, and Dean's Cards, he grades the cards. They grade the cards themselves and give you their honest opinion of what it grades, and they've graded it authentic. So that's generally considered to be worse than poor, unless you submitted it for just an authentic grade. There's writing on the back, so that knocks it down even more. Maxwell was a outfielder for the Boston Red Sox. Pretty good hitter. And anyway, after getting beat out of a couple of them, I thought, I'm going to get this one, and that's going to be my card, unless or until I ever decide to upgrade it, which I may or may not do. I don't generally upgrade common cards unless they're really pretty bad. And this one is bad, but it's not real bad. Uh, by real bad, I mean, it's got a corner missing, or the dogs chewed it, or it has severe paper loss on the front. I've got some of those cards, and I probably will upgrade them whenever I go back through a set and find them. So there you are. That's card number 180, Charlie Maxwell. And the next card is card number 181. And I'm just going to pull it out of the folder because there's writing. There's a slip of paper in there. I want you to be able to see it. Nevertheless, here is Bob Swift for the Detroit Tigers. And Bob was a catcher. He's in his 13th year in the majors and 19th year in organized baseball. So in 1951, he appeared in 44 games, came to the plate, and put the ball in play, struck out, or he didn't. These at bats don't count walks. They don't count hit batsmen, catcher's interference, things like that. He scored 8 runs, had 20 hits and 104 at bats, so slightly under 200 at 192. No home runs and 5 RBIs. And that's Bob Swift, card number 181. The next player is Irv Dusak with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And this card's in pretty decent shape. Soft corners, little stain up here, but otherwise doesn't look too bad. And the back looks pretty good. No major issues on the back. This is card number 183. Irv was a outfielder and played that position with the Pirates. He appeared in 26 games and came up to had an official at bat 41 times with 13 hits. So he did miss some time, as many players of this era did, in wartime military service. He also pitched in 1949 and had a winning record, 11-8, including a one-hitter. So that's Irv's contribution to. Unfortunately, the Pittsburgh Pirates were really pretty bad during this time. The next card is Bill Nicholson, and he's with the Philadelphia Phillies, the Fightin' Phillies. That's actually the name of their AAA franchise, and sometimes they even shorten that to the Fightins. So that's an unusual thing to happen at the Reading Phillies. And he was an outfielder. Chestertown, Maryland, over on the, I think that's over on the Eastern Shore. He had 170 at bats in 1951 over the course of 85 games. And this is card number 185. So that gives me, let's see here. Yeah, I got one more card to show you in that run, which will give me a run from card number 1 through card number 186 with Walt Masterson of the Boston Red Sox. And that's a pretty nice looking card, really, for a. It's probably not not much more than a 2, maybe a 3. Looks pretty good on the back. And Walt was a pitcher. Says his home is in Hyattsville, Maryland, which of course is right outside of Washington, D.C. But in 1951, he was 3-0, so seemed like he did pretty well. He played on American League All-Star squad, 1947 and 1948. 48, you may recall, is the year that the Red Sox finished in a tie with the Cleveland Indians for the best record in the American League. And for some reason known only to himself, Joe McCarthy decided to pitch a journeyman pitcher named Denny Greathouse instead of almost anybody else on their staff, and he got beat up pretty good. By the time he got out of there, the game was pretty much in hand. So maybe you should have considered Walt Masterson. Couldn't have done any worse, I guess. So that's cards added to the 1952 set. The next card is also addition to the 52 set, but I sort of singled this one out to get. It's card number 253, and this is a card of John Berardino. And if you were not a baseball fan, but a soap opera fan, you might know that for many years, John Berardino played the part of Dr. Steve Hardy on General Hospital. And I remember that because I remember watching it sometimes if I was homesick during the daytime. There wasn't anything else to watch, not like today. And General Hospital, he had his own office because he was chief of the medical staff of General Hospital. And the room number of his office was 714. And if you're not a soap opera fan, but you're a baseball fan, you know that's the number of home runs that Babe Ruth hit in his illustrious career. John was not a bad ball player at all. He was a decent ball player, but I think he saw the writing on the wall. He was traded to the Phillies. Most of his career was spent in the minor leagues. And it does note on his card here that during the off season he acts in Hollywood movies. So that's he'd been a college baseball player, University of Southern California. So that's the and he played with the Indians some in 48, 49, and 50. And of course, past year he also was with the Indians, but then he went to the Browns, and by 1953 he was with the Pirates. And I don't think there are any cards of him after that. That's that. The 52 and the 53, I believe, there was only 2 cards. So next, we leave the 52 Topps set after adding the 6 cards to that. So that's about a 2 or 3 weeks worth of work for me. But because of the Strongsville show, I was able to add a few more. We'll look at those later on. And now we're going to take a look at some Berk Ross cards. Berk Ross, as you may remember, was the photographer for the Bowman cards of Gum Inc. And he put together these cards from his photographs, some of which are the same picture used in the either 1951 or 52 Bowman set, but most of them are slightly different. The mantle in the 51 set looks, or 52 set, I should say. I'm going to say this. Yeah. This size is from the 1951 set. This is Gene Woodling, and he was a pretty good hitting outfielder with the Yankees. And this lets us know that he's from Akron, Ohio, which is only about, I don't know, probably 20 miles from Strongsville, 25 maybe. He batted .283 in 1950, which is pretty good. And this is the only 1951 Berk Ross that I've picked up in this go around. A couple of these cards you're going to look at I already had. This one is one of the ones I already had, but they weren't expensive, so I went ahead and got it anyway. This is the Hank Bauer 1952 set, and also the 1952 version of the Gene Woodling card. Now this, I think that Berk Ross was from maybe from the New York area or lived in the New York area. We know that most of his pictures of from the Bowman set were taken either at the Polo Grounds in New York, on the Manhattan side of the river, or Yankee Stadium on the Bronx side of the Harlem River. So that's Gene Woodling, 1952. The next card is Gil McDougall, again from the 1952 set. Gil was a infielder in 1952 with the Yankees. And we'll take a quick look at his. He was born in Nutley, New Jersey, which is in North Jersey. And Gil McDougall was a Rookie of the Year. And he was in the 1952 season. And that's Gil McDougall. Here is a card of Yankee great pitcher Eddie Lopat, who, if you're follow that sort of thing, Ted Williams always referred to Ed Lopat by a very derogatory term. I don't think he meant it in a derogatory way, but in the kindest way possible, I think is how he meant it, but it came across as being pretty coarse. And Ed Lopat was through a lot of what we might call junk pitches. None of them was any threat to break a pane of glass from 60 feet 6 inches. Certainly nothing like Allie Reynolds or Vic Raschi. Perhaps maybe even a little softer of a toss than Whitey Ford. So this is Ed Lopat, and Adam, this is for you specifically because I know how much you love Ed Lopat. Card of Eyes from the 1952 Berk Ross set. And this looks like it may have been taken at spring training. So that's Johnny Mize. I know that Adam is also a big fan of the Big Cat. This is left-handed pitcher Bob Kusava, who's during that time. That is from the 1940 play ball set, which I'm also working on. And this is a Cuban player with the New York Giants, Dolph Luque, who was a pitcher, really of some pretty good quality. And this is in a that's miscut along the left margin, as you can see. And on the back, it's got a pretty good stain on it. I don't think that PSA would give this a grade of 4, even a miscut anymore with that stain on it. This is card number 231 in the set, and the set consists of 240 cards, not counting variations. So this is Dolph Luque, or Adolfo Luque, former Major League pitcher. He was born in Cuba in 1890. And it says that he was the best known of all the Cuban pitchers. So that's Dolph Luque. If you heard my video of the live stream with Alex Bowman 53, we talked about the Superman cards, and this is where that comes from. Gum Inc. put out a set of non-sports cards of Superman, and they're called the Superman Gum cards. And only the higher numbers have the advertisement for Gum Inc. in the play ball set for Superman Gum. So that's the Superman Gum aspect of this. For pickups since coming back from Strongsville, and over the course of the next few days, I will show you the cards that I got in Strongsville, which I am super happy because I got to work on a couple sets, and I also got one that's going to start me down the road, hopefully, to collecting a Playing Days card of every pre-war Hall of Famer. So I'm not really going after a lot of sets, which is what I mainly collected for the last 40 years. So it's exciting, and it's new, and it's something different for me. I'm very happy about all of it. So these are the cards that I have to show you today. In the meantime, this is ROCKETRICKJ18, wishing that all your collecting dreams come true.